tragic life of Junkyard Dog ended in a horrible crash that shocked the wrestling world. But how could a man so loved by millions, so full of life and energy, meet such a devastating end? Today we're diving deep into the story of Sylvester Ritter, the man behind the dog collar and chain, whose journey from football hero to wrestling superstar became a cautionary tale of fame, struggle, and heartbreak. Sylvester Ritter was born on December 13, 1952, and from an early age, it was clear he was destined for greatness. At Fayetteville State University, he dominated the football field as a standout player, earning honorable mention All-American status. His athletic prowess was so impressive that the Green Bay Packers came calling, offering him a chance to play professional football at the highest level. But fate had other plans. A devastating knee and back injury ended his football dreams before they could truly begin. For most people, this would have been the end of their athletic career. But Sylvester Ritter wasn't most people. He was determined to find another way to channel his competitive spirit and natural charisma. Wrestling became his salvation. Under the guidance of trainer Sonny King, Ritter learned the ropes of professional wrestling. He started out as Big Daddy Ritter in Stampede Wrestling, but it wasn't until 1979, when he moved to Mid-South Wrestling, that his career would truly take off. And it would take off in ways that would change his life forever, though not always for the better. It was promoter cowboy Bill Watts who saw something special in the big man from North Carolina. Watts had a vision for a character that would capture the imagination of wrestling fans across the South. Inspired by Jim Croce's song Bad Bad Leroy Brown, the Junkyard Dog persona was born. The name alone was catchy, but it was Ritter's execution that made it legendary. Picture this: a massive man entering the arena wearing a dog collar and chain around his neck, dancing to Queen's "Another One Bites the Dust." The crowd would go absolutely wild every single time. His infectious energy was undeniable, and fans couldn't get enough of him. But even in these early days of success, there were warning signs that Ritter's personality might not be able to handle the pressures of stardom. In Mid-South Wrestling, Junkyard Dog became an unprecedented box office draw. We're talking about a performer so popular that he could headline cards and sell out major venues like the Louisiana Superdome. For a black wrestler in the late 1970s and early 1980s, this level of success was almost unheard of. He captured the Mid-South North American Heavyweight Championship 4 times, cementing his status as the promotion's top star. But it was one particular storyline that showed both his incredible popularity and the dangerous obsession it could create. The Fabulous Freebirds, a heel wrestling group, blinded Junkyard Dog with hair removal cream as part of a scripted storyline. The fans were so emotionally invested in their hero that one actually pulled a gun on the villains. This wasn't just entertainment anymore. This was real emotion, real anger, and real danger. The storyline got even more controversial when it involved Ritter's real family. While his wife was pregnant with their first child, the wrestling promotion made his personal life part of the on-screen drama. After the blinding incident, promos explained that Junkyard Dog couldn't see his newborn daughter LaToya because of what the Freebirds had done to him. Using a man's real family, especially his newborn child, for wrestling storylines crossed a line that many felt was inappropriate. Despite the questionable creative decisions, Junkyard Dog's popularity continued to soar. The Freebirds needed police escorts to and from arenas because fans wanted to get their hands on them for what they had done to their hero. This was the power of Junkyard Dog's connection with the audience, but it also showed how the wrestling business was willing to exploit real emotions for profit. In 1984, Ritter made the jump to the World Wrestling Federation during the height of the rock and wrestling era. This should have been his moment to become a national superstar. He was joining the biggest wrestling promotion in the world at a time when wrestling was becoming mainstream entertainment. But something went wrong along the way. Unlike his dominant run in Mid-South Wrestling, Junkyard Dog never reached the same main event status in the WWF. While he remained popular with fans, he was often relegated to mid-card matches and comedy segments. The magic that had made him such a draw in the South somehow didn't translate to the national stage in the same way. As the years went by, things started to fall apart for Ritter both professionally and personally. His work rate in the ring began to decline noticeably. Where he once moved with surprising agility for a big man, he now appeared sluggish and out of shape. His weight ballooned, making him look less like an athletic performer and more like someone who had lost control of his physical condition. But the weight gain was just the visible symptom of deeper problems. Former colleagues revealed that Ritter had developed serious substance abuse issues, particularly with cocaine. The party lifestyle that often came with wrestling fame had gotten its hooks into him, and he seemed unable or unwilling to break free from its grip. By the late 1980s, Junkyard Dog's star had faded considerably. The man who once sold out the Superdome was now working smaller venues and struggling to maintain his relevance in a business that was always looking for the next big thing. After his time in the major promotions ended, he was forced to take whatever work he could get. The mighty Junkyard Dog, once wrestling royalty, found himself working at Walmart and repossessing cars to make ends meet. It was a humbling fall from grace for someone who had once been one of the most beloved performers in the industry. He also helped train the next generation of wrestlers, including future WWE star Rodney Mack, showing that despite his personal struggles, he still had knowledge and experience to share. But it was on June 1st, 1998, that Junkyard Dog's story would come to its tragic end. He was just 45 years old when he died in a single-car accident on Interstate 20 near Forest, Mississippi. The circumstances of the crash made the tragedy even more heartbreaking. Ritter had been driving home from his daughter Latoya's high school graduation ceremony. It should have been one of the happiest days of his life, watching his child achieve this important milestone. During the long journey home, he had stopped to visit his nephew and hold his son, creating what would become the last known photograph of him alive. At approximately 11:40 in the morning, exhaustion overtook him. Sylvester Ritter fell asleep at the wheel while driving on the interstate. His car rolled 3 times in the devastating crash that followed. Making matters worse, he wasn't wearing a seatbelt, and the impact caused fatal head trauma that ended his life instantly. The wrestling world was shocked by the news. Here was a man who had brought joy to millions of fans, who had broken barriers for black athletes in wrestling, and who had been a pioneer in the industry. And now he was gone, just like that, in a preventable accident that robbed his family and fans of many more years with their beloved Junkyard Dog. The tragedy didn't end with Sylvester's death. In a devastating twist of fate that seemed almost too cruel to be real, his daughter Latoya, the same daughter whose graduation he had been returning from when he died, would also pass away at just 31 years old due to a ruptured heart valve. She now rests next to her father, creating a heartbreaking family legacy that no one should have to endure. Even in death, controversy followed Junkyard Dog. The wrestling world's handling of his legacy sparked outrage among fans and insiders who felt that the business had failed to properly honor his memory and contributions. The same industry that had exploited his family during his career seemed unable to treat his death with the respect and dignity it deserved. But there was redemption of sorts in 2004 when WWE finally inducted Junkyard Dog into their Hall of Fame. It was Latoya, along with his sister Christine, who accepted the honor on his behalf in an emotional ceremony that brought many fans to tears. For a moment, the wrestling world got it right, acknowledging the impact that Sylvester Ritter had made on the industry and the doors he had opened for future black performers. Despite all his personal struggles, weight problems, and substance abuse issues, there's no denying that Junkyard Dog was a pioneer who paved the way for others. His iconic entrance dance to "Another One Bites the Dust" remains one of the most recognizable in wrestling history. His finishing move, the thump, is still remembered fondly by fans who witnessed his glory days. He was one of the first black wrestlers to headline major promotions and became a hero to an entire generation. The story of Junkyard Dog serves as both inspiration and warning. It shows us that talent and charisma can take you to incredible heights, but it also reminds us how quickly it can all come crashing down. Sylvester Ritter's life was filled with both triumph and tragedy, success and failure, love and loss. In the end, his legacy lives on through the barriers he broke and the memories he created, even as we mourn the tragic circumstances that ended his journey far too soon. His story reminds us how fleeting life can be and how important it is to cherish the moments we have. The gentle giant who made millions smile ultimately couldn't escape the demons that haunted him, but his impact on professional wrestling and the lives he touched along the way ensure that the name Junkyard Dog will never be forgotten. If you enjoyed learning about this wrestling legend's complex story, make sure to hit that like button, leave a comment sharing your favorite Junkyard Dog memory, and subscribe for more deep dives into the lives of wrestling's most fascinating personalities.